So Katt Williams broke the internet, right? And I'm sure a lot of you have heard about it. We covered it on this channel. He talked about a lot of things. Everything from Chris Tucker being on Jeffrey Epstein's list, from talking about what is his name, P. Diddy, T.D. Jakes, Kevin Hart being a plant, Steve Harvey stealing people's content, a lot of things that happen in Hollywood that people don't realize, from them putting a lot of black men in dresses, him not conforming, and whether you choose to believe everything he said, most of the things he said, I think what's really important is for us to do something different this episode, and that is to solidify a couple of things that Katt Williams said that may have went over a lot of people's head. And one of the things that stood out to me the most that I really want to hone in on is what he said about Kevin Hart, and that is this whole thing about being a plant. And if I remember correctly, he said when Kevin Hart showed up, he already had his deal. He said nobody in history can recall ever going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show where they gave him a standing ovation at the comedy clubs. He said that's because when Kevin Hart showed up, he already had his own sitcom, and he already had his own leading role in his own movie being Soul Plane, which I love that movie, by the way.
Where he said that Steve and Cedric and Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish came through there and made... All lies. Steve and Cedric never performed at the Comedy Store at all. Tiffany was only seen at the Laugh Factory. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to L.A. and in his first year in L.A. he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words.
But what he said was very interesting to me because he's talking about a comedian, and I know for a fact that industry plants exist, and many other people know this as well. But somebody that Katt Williams mentioned that he didn't even go in on, in fact, he spoke of her in a good light, in the sense that she has money, is Sexxy Red. And I think using Sexxy Red as a prime example of how industry plants are right there in your face and as plain as daylight, but people don't realize it, I think will solidify what Katt Williams said. So without further ado, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, man. I really appreciate it. Hit the notification bell. Let me go ahead and expose Sexxy Red, that it probably wouldn't be a shock for a lot of you to notice she's an industry plant. But by the end of this video, you're going to unequivocally know that she's an industry plant. And I think some of the things that I'm going to share with you that you don't know about will actually surprise you. So without further ado, let's take a look at Sexxy Red. So as I was saying, Sexxy Red is one of the most popular artists out now, being called, one of the biggest breakthrough artists of the summer of 2023 by Billboard. Her song Pound Town turned her into an overnight star, gaining millions of views on TikTok and YouTube today. Everywhere you look, you will spot Sexxy Red name, as TikTok loves her and the blogs can't get enough of her. She seems to have taken over 2023 with her beyond, explicit lyrics and her, proud ratchet behavior. And you may be asking, like a lot of us, how exactly did Sexxy Red get to where she is, and how did she get to be so big in the first place? Did she just get super lucky by going viral with the Pound Town song, which led to an organic rise to fame, or was it something else? Well, was it an organic rise? I don't think so. Not exactly. Yes, her song going viral is what made her gain all this newfound, attention, but her song going viral had nothing to do with luck. There is a reason it appears Sexxy Red came out of nowhere, and it's because she did. As raw and ratchet it appears Sexxy Red is, her rise to fame is very much calculated. Sexxy Red is an industry plant, and by the end of this video, like I said, you will see exactly how she became to be a star and why, they made her a star to begin with. She started making music when her boyfriend cheated on her, and to get back at him, she wrote and recorded this song. Sometime after this, she would experience her first moment of virality when her song 8,000 Jugs, a parody of Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles, went viral. The song got her some attention, but nothing serious will come from it. Yet later that year, she ended up dropping her single Car Free Smoke, while again not doing anything for her immediately. This song would eventually play a role in her current success. A few years would pass, and in 2021, an A&R part of the label called J Rebel Music would hear Sexxy Red's Free Smoke record, and she would get signed to the J Rebel Music. J Rebel Music would get behind her and push her music, and by 2023, after years of grinding, Sexxy Red drops Pound Town, and the rest is history, right? She makes it big. And if we listen to this story being told, then you might ask, how is Sexxy Red an industry plant? Her growth seems organic, and it seems to be the result of hard work. Well, this story isn't entirely accurate, and it's not exactly true. This is what the labels want you to think. Sexxy Red did get signed to J Rebel Music, sure, but it wasn't in 2021 like they claimed. It was actually back in 2018 when she first went viral. I found this out. This is not a conspiracy theory. I found this out by looking at the licensing information on YouTube to her songs, which clearly states that J Rebel Music was already her label when her song Free Smoke came out back in 2018. The very song they claim to have discovered Sexxy Red with is a song from 3 years before that wasn't even big yet. This is a label cover story made for all industry plants. In reality, she was signed back in 2018, and the record label has been pulling the strings behind the scenes, making her the Sexxy Red she is today. For example, if we look at her first video for the song 1000 Jugs, you wouldn't even notice or recognize her because she is completely different. She doesn't look like the Sexxy Red from today. In this video, she looks completely unrecognizable as she's missing the many face tattoos that now cover her face, giving her the signature look. In the song, she also wasn't rapping about the stuff she's known to rap about today. No lyrics about her private parts or ratchet ghetto behavior. I believe this song going viral is what led to J Music signing her, yes, as it was what brought some attention to her in the first place. But she was signed in 2018, and her song Free Smoke would drop under J Rebel Music. J Rebel Music was behind turning Sexxy Red from a nobody to this superstar as they constructed her image, and they admitted that managing Sexxy Red was a 24-hour task. They turned her into a rapper, which is known for rapping about extremely sexual lyrics. This label knew exactly what Sexxy Red needed to represent and what she needed to be signed by a major label, and they turned her into that. The face tattoos, the look, and the lyrics were all constructed by the record labels by the time Sexxy Red dropped Pound Town in 2023. It was released through Warner Music, which means the major labels were already behind it. Its virality was completely fabricated as record labels invest millions in TikTok marketing. Sexxy Red's Pound Town took off on TikTok first, and this is because the major labels were behind her working the song behind the scenes. All they have to do is pay some big TikTok influencers to use the song for some videos, and that's how you get her traction on TikTok. In 2023, she would also end up signing to a record label called Gamma, a new label that was created by Larry Jackson, who's the former Apple Global Creative Director. Gamma is a record label backed by $1 billion investment from many big companies in their industry, right? Larry started this label in 2023, and Sexxy Red was one of the first artists he signed. Larry is actually a very powerful man in the industry, a man with a lot of money behind him and a lot of connections, a man who can definitely take Sexxy Red to new levels. He has been associated with artists like Snoop Dogg, Usher, Nicki Minaj, and even Drake. This is the reason why we have been seeing Sexxy Red everywhere, and also why we have seen her with many big stars. Larry Jackson is actually great friends with superstar Drake, as Drake was once exclusive to Apple, where they formed the connection. And this is the reason why an upcoming Sexxy Red, who is still in her early moments of her career with no connections, ends up getting a cosign from Drake. This cosign alone puts so many mainstream eyes on Sexxy Red and was all fabricated by the labels. Larry also got Sexxy Red co-signed from Nicki Minaj, which also boosted her career, just like Ice Spice, by the way, when it comes to women. By Sexxy Red signing with Larry, she now has the full backing of the mainstream machine behind her. This is why all eyes are on Sexxy Red right now. It's because she was chosen by the elite in the industry. Her career did not take off organically. It was manufactured by men in suits at the record labels. People are really under the impression that she is just acting like herself, when in reality, she is just buying into the character that labels want her to be. You may be wondering as well, why did they choose Sexxy Red of all people, right, to become a big artist of 2023? Man, this all goes back to the agenda that the music industry is pushing. Like I've said before, and I'm going to say it again. Before Sexxy Red, there was, the likes of Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, and Lil' Kim, and Sexxy Red is just a continuation of that. The three women that shaped and molded a generation of young women due to the music women like Nicki and Cardi make. They influenced an entire generation of OnlyFans girls that we see today. Women who think selling their beauty online is an honorable way to make money. These women were tricked by these artists like Nicki and Cardi B to think that what they were doing was liberating, as they were using their body for what they wanted. In reality, this was all propaganda to further destroy the morals of women, pushing them further away from God. Cardi B herself was even used to push OnlyFans when it first got popular. The elite behind the scenes or behind these artists have a specific agenda they want to push through these artists, and we are seeing this through Sexxy Red. The moment Sexxy Red signed to the major labels, she sold herself to them. They are now going to use her whichever way they'd like. This is why Sexxy Red is now making songs about the color of her private parts, the fact that she has STIs. She routinely talks about, being a promiscuous woman who is willing to do anything in bed. I mean, just look at the comment section under her video for Pound Town. Let's just go down and just read the comments. Came from that TikTok of a young lady who teaches ballet. She was talking about how 5-year-old students request this song. And I'm going to talk just a little bit about what they're talking about there. We win the race to the bottom with this one. We losing a couple of 100 years of progress with this one. This one should have never left the studio. We disappoint their ancestors with this one. What a wholesome and heartwarming song. No wonder why the 5-year-olds love it. We losing father figures with this one. We disappoint our grandmothers with this one. We hitting rock bottom in the black community with this one. We straying even further away from God with this one. We be proving everyone right with this one. Know how she uses the pound to illustrate the dismay and struggle of the human spirit as it relates to the town. Brilliant. She never disappoints when it comes to disappointing. We slime back another 500 years of oppression with this one. We sitting at the back of the bus with this one. We making out of the ballet class with this one. We making it to the child support with this one. We making it to child support with this one. We getting our civil rights revoked with this one. We raising classless daughters with this one. We destroying the minds of the youth with this one. We getting whipped and changed up with this one. We getting whipped and chained up with this one. We making it back into public housing with this one. We losing brain cells with this one. We creating single mothers with this one. We sliding further into moral decay with this one. This is crazy. And then what they're talking about with 5-year-olds is this viral video here.
You see, it's very clearly being supported by a lot of different parents here. And even the kids here, they're all training themselves from ages 3, 4 to say, bend, shake that, let your coochie breathe. They don't even bro. What happened to ring around the rosy, pocket full of posy?
And this is what I'm talking about. So when Katt Williams makes statements like that about Kevin Hart, Katt Williams is a part of the industry. So that means he knows about all the comedians that blew up, all the comedians that didn't, all the hard work that happens behind the scenes. So if this man is coming on record or coming on wax, coming on video, coming on big platforms, openly and confidently saying that when this man showed up, bro, he already had everything laid out for him. That's not really a far-fetched. Because when you look at the likes of Lil Nas X, when you look at Ice Spice, you look at Sexxy Red, come on, man, I'm not the only one. We all know artists. We all know our local artists that have been rapping for years. How come all these artists that blow up, none of us know them? I don't know anybody that know any artists that blew up. You don't know anybody that knew an artist that blew up. Where do these people come from? How come not only do you blow up, because sure, some people blow up faster than other people. Sure, it happens. It's laws of the universe, whatever. But the problem is, these people do not just come out of nowhere and blow up. They blow up on the biggest platforms in the world. And all of a sudden, Lil Nas X getting Billy Ray Cyrus features and Nas features? You got a Nas feature? Cardi B, what? This is what I'm saying. I made a video about Bobby Althoff. These people come out of nowhere and all of a sudden, without all the years that go into grinding, you get interviews with Drake, you get interviews with Offset and what's my man name? The owner of the Dallas Mavericks. You get interviews with all these people, billionaires and millionaires. How?
Psychologist. I probably struggle with psychology.
What do you know that we don't know? So when Katt Williams was talking about a lot of this stuff, this is proof right here. Where do these people come from? Well, I just explained it to you. Hop in the comment section. Give me your thoughts. What do you think about this? Do you believe in industry plants? What do you think about what Katt Williams said? What do you think about what he's talked about? Do you believe him? Do you think it's all cap? Do you believe he exaggerated? Hop in the comment section. Give me your thoughts, man. Until next time. Peace. Oh, yeah. Diddy got a podcast.